Hey guys, it's Steven and Allie here. I know you're probably expecting a podcast by now, but we had some really exciting stuff happen this week, so we thought we would take this week just to kind of say thank you for some incredible things that happened this week. And then everything will be back to normal next week. We'll have episodes coming for you. So um, basically, earlier, towards the end of last week,
It's Wednesday.
it's Wednesday. So yeah, last week, um, I just kind of started getting tired of being uncomfortable in my wheelchair because I'm in one that's not really fit for me. It was given to us by a family member for free, and we needed it, so
It's been a godsend for sure.
I'm grateful to have it. I mean, it's better than not having one.
Yeah.
But it's not meant for me. I'm a little big boy. It's meant for most normal people, but I fit in it, so it's fine. Like I said, it's usable.
It's also a transport wheelchair that's literally just meant for getting someone like from the house to the car or maybe from the hospital to the car.
Mhm.
It's not an everyday wheelchair. It's not meant for long-term sitting.
Yeah, that's another thing about it. It has like screws built in that kind of cut into my legs. It's just not a fun time.
Yeah.
But all that to say, I had decided to start a GoFundMe. Not something I ever considered doing. I'm a very prideful person, so I don't like asking for help. So that was tough for me. But I went out on a limb because, you know, I want to wait and do it on my own, but at the same time, it's hurting me more to wait. Um, so I just went out on a limb and did it. And the goal was pretty steep. So I thought surely this is going to take a little while, and that's okay with me because I knew there were people that would help, but I didn't know it would be the way it was. Um, so I'll just say we had the goal of 3,500, and I know that seems crazy. So maybe I should take this minute to explain to most people who don't know, custom wheelchairs are expensive.
Gosh.
It's not a motorized wheelchair, and I know that probably makes you think, well, how is it so expensive?
And that's
I
something
understand
that,
that.
sorry, I didn't mean to
You
cut
can
you
go
off.
ahead.
That's something that we both were shocked to figure out. Because you can like go on Amazon and do a wheelchair search and find a wheelchair for under $200. But it's gonna be like the one he's using now. And as someone who I've never had someone in my life who uses a wheelchair really, other than some elderly grandparent, or really my great grandparents who used a wheelchair, and they only used it as a transport chair. So they either went from their bed to the chair to the car, or their bed to the wheelchair to like a recliner. I've never known anyone who's in a wheelchair like full time, like someone who is handicapped or paralyzed or anything like that. So I just kind of always assumed all wheelchairs were the same, and I think that's kind of most people's experience. But before even considering getting Steven a new chair, we've talked about it before. We watch other YouTubers who are disabled and who are in a wheelchair, and we were watching their videos talking about how they needed to get a custom chair so that they could have an easier time in their daily life. And there was one YouTuber who spent nearly $10,000
Yeah,
on a chair.
A complete custom.
Now, granted,
build.
that's like high end. That's like souping up a car. He got like a souped up wheelchair. However, he walked through this video. He went to like a big
He went to a place called Hands On Concepts.
Yes.
Which is based in San Diego, California.
Yeah, and I'm also thinking of the video where he went to like the wheelchair con, like the big
it was wheelchair convention. You're
convention.
Right.
Thank you. And it just talking to all these different companies, and he talked to the experts who were designing these wheelchairs, and they were explaining how when someone uses a wheelchair in their everyday life, they need something that's lightweight. The wheels are going to be positioned in a different way so that their center of gravity is actually under them, not behind them, which, I mean, if you think about it, that makes sense, because when I'm walking, my center of gravity is lined up and it's in the center of my body. It's not behind me. Like, I wouldn't be able to walk that way. That's why pregnant women don't have great balance, because your center of gravity changes. So it all made sense to me, but I'd never heard anyone talk about it before. And so then when we started looking for Steven a wheelchair, I thought surely it's just going to be a couple $100s to find a chair that's shaped different, maybe a little bit wider for him, like you said, to fit his body better. We did not expect it to be thousands of dollars for a chair, and when we heard that, I kind of thought, well, I guess we aren't getting a custom chair, or it's going to be years down the road because we're trying to work towards moving into a bigger home. We rent right now and it's tiny, so we need somewhere to fit all of our children, the Teal Zoo. And so I just thought, we've got other things that are more pressing. Not that Steven isn't important, but we always put our kids first. And so having a bigger home means putting our kids first. And so him getting a chair was always on the back burner. Because I just felt like if it's that expensive, then it's just going to have to wait. And that sucks. It's not great to have to make that choice, but that's kind of the choice we had made until Steven decided to do a GoFundMe. Here's the thing too, I'm also in a place where I don't feel like disabled people should have to justify why their equipment costs so much money. And I don't want to have to over explain why it costs so much, because I just, of course we want people to trust us. I mean, that seems silly, but naive, but you can look it up. You can look up how much like daily custom chairs cost, and I encourage you, if you're curious, or maybe, I don't know, that you would be concerned, but if you have questions, I encourage you to do research or message us and ask. We're happy to talk about it. But there definitely is a difference between a standard chair and a custom chair. And I don't mean a souped up chair. I just mean something that fits his body, that's lightweight, that works for his muscular dystrophy so that it's easy for him to push himself.
Yes.
Something that you want it to kind of be made of materials that are water resistant, that can hold a lot of weight, where he can help with our kids still. Just, things that I think we all take for granted because we can do them without needing anything. But he has to think about every single thing that goes into his chair because it affects every single thing he does. So, sorry, I took over, but that's my soapbox. I'll get off of it.
That's all right. So basically, this chair that I'm looking at is made out of titanium. It's lightweight, which is what I need.
Yeah.
It's hard to push myself around in a chair that's 20 plus pounds. I mean, it's just tough. So this one's going to be fit to my body. It's just going to be better. I just know it. It's going to be a better experience for everyone. I'll be able to get in and transfer in and out of the car by myself if I need to. I can take the wheelchair apart. The wheels are interlocking, so they come off.
Mm-hmm. And that's something that I think, too, I didn't think about until literally this week. I didn't realize how long it had been since Steven had been able to drive somewhere without my assistance, which I don't think about that because I can come and go as I please. Like, I don't need someone to help me in the car or out of the car, but he can't go anywhere unless I'm with him. And
which is fine because we're married and we're usually together.
But like, if you want to go do something on your own, you should have that basic ability to do so. And it has been at least 6 months since he had been able to wheel himself out to the car, get in the car, go in a store or go in a restaurant or even go into church by himself without me having to be there to get the wheelchair out of the car, put the wheelchair down for him, make sure he's in it okay, and going inside. I just didn't realize it had been that long since you'd had that freedom and independence.
Oh, it's easy to forget because we're in a pandemic, so.
No, that's true.
Yeah, it was easy to forget about that, so. Because we weren't really going anywhere anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, long story short about that.
Sorry.
It's just going to be, no, it's fine. That's good that you got to talk about it. You said things I was going to talk about, so. Just, again, when I posted it, I thought it'll be about a month. That's fine. I never thought it would be met, to be honest with you, anyway.
Yeah.
I thought any help was more than I could ever imagine.
Yeah.
$100 is more than I thought. But you guys proved me wrong, and within like 2 or 3 hours, it was probably a quarter of the way done. And then the next day, it was met.
Within 24 hours.
Not even 24 hours, over 12 hours. And I couldn't believe it. I cried a lot. I probably will cry now, hopefully not, because I should have gotten it all out.
You're close.
But my point being, it's just I'm grateful to know that so many people care from different aspects of my life at that. People from my childhood, people from college, from high school, people from my life now, even internet friends that I have not met yet. So I just wanted to say how grateful I was to you guys, how grateful we are, because it's a blessing.
It impacts our whole
Yeah.
family. Like, this chair is for him to sit in,
Yeah.
but this is going to change things our family can do. And that, I mean, that sounds so grand, but I mean, it's the truth. Like, him having the freedom to be able to get himself in and out of the house without needing my help means that he can take the kids outside to play when I'm not home, which is a big deal because he can't do that right now. And the kids don't mind.
No, they don't.
But, like, they would love for dad to be able to take them outside to throw the baseball or ride their bikes, and, you know, Steven not have to worry about waiting till I'm home, or just being able to have that time with the kids on his own, like that bonding time, without mom around, I think is important.
Yeah.
And they deserve that, and he deserves the ability to do that. And, you know, I just, that's exciting for me. That's going to affect the kids that way. It's going to make it easier for you to get in your parents' house.
Yeah.
And I think we'll be able to visit family more often because your wheelchair,
it'll
fit in other people's houses better. Like, that sounds silly too, but
everything a lot easier.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that was the goal. Things have been just harder in it, and I know that's expected.
Sure.
I mean, I knew that the moment I got in one. The goal wasn't to start using one all the time.
No.
But things progressed differently than I thought, like they always do.
Yeah, MD's unpredictable. You don't know when it's suddenly going to flare up and how long you're going to have like an episode of progression, and then maybe it'll slow down. But you don't know, and there's not enough research to kind of identify patterns because it's different for everyone.
Yeah, everyone's experience is different. But yeah, again, we just wanted to say thank you because it affected us in a big way, in a good way.
It was crazy. He texted me while I was at a rehearsal at church and said, "Allie, I did something."
I scared the crap out of her, let's be honest. She thought I had
done
something
terrible. He sent
terrible.
me these ominous text messages. It was something like, "I did something."
Yeah. Like, oh my gosh, he blew up the house. What did he do?
Yeah, and he was like, "You're not going to believe it." And I was like, "Oh no." And then he said he started a GoFundMe, and I didn't love that. And I was like, "Why? Why do you need to? I don't want to ask anyone for money. What are we asking money for?" And he said for a wheelchair, and I was like, "Oh, okay." Okay. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of processed it, and so I texted him back, and he said, "But we've already raised this much money." And I was like, "What?" And it was a large amount. And I said, "Okay." And so then he started telling me, "I set the amount this high, and this has already happened." And then, like, every few minutes he would text me again, "Allie, it's gone up. Allie, it's gone up. Allie, it's gone up." So finally I got home, and we'd reached about half our goal just in a matter of a few hours, right? And so I was crying when I got home, because that's crazy. Because again, we had to choose moving forward and getting a new home, whether it's renting, buying, whatever, just moving into a bigger house. We had to make that choice and say, "I'm sorry, you're going to have to suffer in your chair a little bit longer." And I felt guilty about that because I felt like it is wrong to have to choose. But I felt so bad that I was having to say, "You have to be in pain longer so that we can have a home," even though that is the right decision. Yeah. It's a crappy decision to have to make, and to watch him hurt every day and be swollen and just all the stuff, and to suddenly out of nowhere have that need met was just crazy. Just crazy. And I just say it was a God thing that people responded so quickly and generously, because you did not have to. I don't feel like we deserve it because we've not earned it. We've not, you know what I mean? And I know that's not what love is. You guys were just loving us, and I know love isn't earned and love isn't necessarily deserved. And so he already said it, but we are so grateful. And you know, and I was saying I don't feel like everyone should have to explain why it's expensive. For the most part, people didn't ask. You guys didn't care why the amount was set where it was. People were saying that they understood, and like the kindness was just insane. And the things that you guys were saying about Steven, just expressing your love for him and how much you appreciate him as a friend, that blessed him in just a mighty way, and it encouraged him. And I tell him all the time that he's great, but hearing it from someone else was really cool. And it was really cool for me to get to see other people showing him that. Like, I loved watching that, loved knowing how many other people loved him. And like that just did so much good for my heart too, to see him get that affirmation. And of course, you guys were loving on me too, don't get me wrong, but this was about him. This was for him. And so I'm just really grateful. And it also takes a bit of a burden off of me, if I can say that, because I am the main moneymaker for our house. And so it was just really cool to have this kind of off my plate and off my shoulders to have the money to take care of it. So that was really cool, and I appreciate that. So that helped me. That is how it helped me, because you guys, you supported our whole family, and that was just really awesome, you know, because we've struggled in lots of ways. We've had some rough seasons as a family, and so this was really cool for God to just show up in a big way and to use so many of you guys, and for you guys to sacrifice for us the way you did, because some people gave a lot.
It's tough right now for everybody.
Yeah,
so
this is a rough season.
I know every little amount means a lot.
Oh, absolutely. So. Absolutely. And for everyone who shared it on Facebook and stuff, like, that meant a lot too, because you were willing to put, yourself out there and share it. And that was really cool. Like, it was just really cool to see just the love. It was like over and over, just, I don't know.
Yeah. It still blows us away to think about, that's all.
It's crazy.
So the next step I want to say is that we're going to be writing out thank you cards to every person who shared, donated. Doesn't matter if you gave money or not.
No. If you even just shared the Facebook post.
Yeah. If you did, if you watched this whole video, you get to this point, I hope you did. Let us know. Message us on Facebook, either one of us. I'll be setting up probably a Facebook or something for our podcast eventually. So maybe looking for that. But if in the meantime, message me or Allie, or we're going to be messaging you to get your address, because we're giving you a personal thank you card.
But no, that's why. Why we're asking for your address. We're not being creepers.
We literally want to thank you, physically.
Yeah, we want to do something.
It's a big deal. So just be on the lookout for that. Message us or we'll message you. We'll figure that out. The money for the GoFundMe is just now starting to come in. GoFundMe has a certain transaction schedule they do.
They have a process they do.
So whenever that all comes in, we're going to start working on the process of getting the measurements for the chair.
Yeah.
We may find somewhere we can go to get the measurements done professionally.
That would be the goal.
And get the chair from them, so we could just get the perfect fit.
But with COVID, that's kind of what we're trying to work around. Whereas, it would have been easy to travel and go do that without COVID. Now things are different. Certain businesses aren't letting you come in person, so we're figuring that out. We do have a couple companies that we're looking at, that we want to work with, that we've reached out to. We're just kind of waiting on what they tell us the first step is now to move forward. I will be documenting this process as best as I can, because I think that's good information as we go about learning how to do this. I want to have that information for other people who maybe need to get a custom chair, so they can know where to start and how to, what to talk about with companies, the questions to ask, because we've got lots of questions because we've never done this before.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be documenting that. So hopefully that'll be a video in the next
we'll do a video,
couple of months.
And we'll just, like I said, when the process is done, we'll probably just do a whole video.
Yeah.
And just share with you the process of how it worked out, and because we want you to see what, your generosity was able to give.
Yes.
I'll also link in this video, I'll link Wheels to Walking's video of him getting his really expensive wheelchair.
Yeah, and he's the one who went to the conference as well.
His name's Richard. He does a YouTube channel. He actually recently went hiking in his wheelchair.
Super cool.
It's crazy to see what the human body's still able to do. But I'll link that video, and you can kind of get an idea of why wheelchairs are so expensive when they're customized. If you're going to spend a long time in them, it's kind of like a house. You want it to be fit to your family.
Sure.
So you want it to fit because it's something you're supposed to. I don't want to have to make this purchase in 5 years. I want this to last 10, 20 years.
Yeah, you want it to be forever.
I'd like to think I won't be in a wheelchair for that long, but I have to expect that I will be. So I want to make sure that it's the right one and that it's going to last a while. And I appreciate you guys for being willing to help with that big costs, and it means a lot. So thank you guys.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
I'm just really grateful and surprised and just honored, I think, that people would do that and bless our family this way.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. You've helped my family, not just me. And yeah, that's something I can never thank you enough for. But again, we just wanted to say thank you for everything and kind of explain why things happened the way they did, and maybe give you an idea better of why I just decided that was the thing I needed to do. And the podcast, like I said, will be back on schedule next week.
Yeah, we have a special interview.
Yeah, it's the next few are going to be a lot of interview based stuff with close family, our kids, maybe some of our friends. So those are going to take a little while to get together. That's why we decided to take this week, and we were so grateful from what happened that we figured let's just take the week and let it soak in a little bit.
Yeah, this is what's been on our minds and on our hearts.
And we want to make sure the podcast is good for you guys.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say, but thank you. Yeah.
I know, thank you. Yeah. It means the world, and it's going to change so much for us.
Yep.
So
thank you guys very much, and we hope you're all doing well. We love you guys.
We love you.
All right, we'll talk to you later. Bye.